Let me ask you something. Have you ever been told to drink more water as the solution to nearly every problem? Tired? Drink more water. Headache? Drink more water. Feeling sluggish? Again, the advice is always more water. And don't get me wrong, staying hydrated is important. But here's the surprising truth most men over 60 don't hear. Certain water habits, especially the way you drink it, could actually be harming your circulation, your energy, and yes, your erections. I know that may sound shocking because water is supposed to be the healthiest drink of all. But as a urologist, I've seen too many men follow this so-called healthy habit, only to end up with the very problems they were trying to avoid. A few months ago, a gentleman named Harold came into my office. He's 68, retired, still plays golf twice a week, and considers himself health conscious. He carried a large refillable jug of water everywhere he went. By his own words, he drank close to a gallon each day because he heard it was the best thing for his body and his sexual health. But what Harold didn't realize was that the way he was drinking was stressing his kidneys, diluting his electrolytes, and interfering with blood flow. And for men, blood flow is everything when it comes to maintaining strong erections. He was frustrated, embarrassed, and confused. After all, he was doing the right thing. But sometimes the right thing, done the wrong way, can cause harm. For those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Dr. Nolan Easton. I've been practicing men's health and urology for over 30 years. I've sat across from thousands of men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond who quietly ask me the questions they can't bring themselves to ask anyone else. And what I want you to know today is that you don't have to feel ashamed or powerless. When it comes to your health, especially your sexual vitality, simple changes can make a profound difference. This video, Urologist Warning, this healthy water habit is killing your erection, is my way of giving you the same guidance I share behind closed doors in my office. Now, back to Harold. His story is important because it highlights a mistake many men make without realizing it. He thought guzzling down huge amounts of plain water at once was keeping him young and strong, but in reality, it was throwing off the delicate balance of sodium and potassium in his body. Think of your bloodstream like an electrical circuit. If you flood it with too much water too quickly, the wiring doesn't work right. Muscles can cramp, blood pressure can dip, and most critically, the fine network of blood vessels that supply the penis with blood don't get the steady, pressurized flow they need. What Harold experienced was not a lack of desire, but a lack of function. And here's the part most men miss. Erections aren't just about testosterone. They're about circulation. If your blood vessels can't expand and contract the way they should, if the pressure isn't there, your performance suffers. So when you hear advice to drink more water, it's not that the advice itself is wrong, it's incomplete. It doesn't explain how to drink, when to drink, or how much to drink for a man in his 60s or 70s. Your body is not the same as it was at 30, and what worked then might not work now. What I told Harold was simple. It's not about flooding your system. It's about supporting it. Your body needs hydration, yes, but it also needs balance. If you're constantly flushing out electrolytes with water, your heart and your blood vessels struggle. And that struggle shows up first in areas most men don't want to talk about. Within a few weeks of adjusting how he hydrated, not just what, but when and how, Harold noticed he wasn't running to the bathroom every hour. He slept better, and his confidence in the bedroom began to return. I want to pause here and ask you, my viewers, something. Have you ever been told to just drink more water as a blanket solution? If this is striking a chord with you, I'd love for you to comment yes below. If not, type no. I really do read your responses, and they help me tailor these videos to what matters most to you. And while you're here, please tap that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the health advice I bring every week. Think of it as your personal reminder that you're not alone in this journey. Now, you might be wondering, how can something so basic, something as natural as water, cause this kind of problem? The truth is, the habit itself isn't water. It's the way men approach it. Chugging half a liter in one go, trying to hit a number by the end of the day, or drinking so much late in the evening that sleep is disrupted. These patterns take a toll on the body, and over time, that toll shows up where circulation matters most. When Harold first heard me explain that his water habit might be hurting his erections, he was skeptical. After all, he had read dozens of articles and even seen doctors on television say the same thing over and over: drink more water. And like many men his age, he believed that if a little was good, then a lot must be even better. But health doesn't always work that way. In fact, many times, balance, not excess, is the real key. I told Harold to think of his body like a finely tuned engine. An engine doesn't run well if you flood it with fuel. It needs the right amount, delivered in the right way, to keep everything running smoothly. Your body works the same way with water. Too little, and the system strains. Too much, and the system sputters. The trick is learning the right rhythm, and that's especially important for men over 60. You see, as we get older, our kidneys aren't as efficient as they once were. They don't filter and balance electrolytes with the same speed and sharpness. So when you pour in large amounts of water all at once, your kidneys get overwhelmed. They try to get rid of the excess, which is why men like Harold find themselves constantly in the bathroom. And every trip means you're losing more than just water. You're losing sodium, potassium, and magnesium. These are not just minerals that nutritionists like to talk about. They're the very spark plugs that keep your heart beating, your muscles contracting, and your blood vessels functioning properly. Without them, blood pressure can drop, circulation falters, and erections become weak or unreliable. Harold's wife had actually noticed the changes before he did. She told me, "Doctor, he's up 3 or 4 times a night, and he doesn't sleep deeply anymore. He seems tired all the time." That's another overlooked piece of this puzzle. Overhydration at the wrong times wrecks sleep. And poor sleep alone can crush testosterone levels, reduce sexual desire, and limit the body's ability to repair itself. What Harold thought was a healthy routine was silently robbing him of energy, rest, and vitality. Now, let's step back for a moment. If you're watching this, you might be nodding your head thinking, "Yes, I drink a lot of water late in the day." Or, "Yes, I wake up several times at night to use the bathroom." If so, don't worry. You're not alone, and you're not doomed. The good news is that small adjustments can turn this around faster than you think. One of the first things I asked Harold to do was to change the timing of his water intake. Instead of waiting until the afternoon or evening to catch up, I encouraged him to spread it evenly throughout the day, like watering a garden in steady intervals rather than dumping a bucket all at once. That way, his kidneys could handle it more gracefully, his body could absorb more, and his sleep wouldn't be interrupted. Within a week of making that shift, Harold told me he felt calmer in the evenings, less bloated, and he was sleeping nearly through the night. His wife smiled and said, "Doctor, he's not just sleeping better, he's more himself again." And as every man knows, when you sleep well, when your energy is steady, everything else in life begins to feel better, including intimacy. Let me pause here and remind you why this matters so much. Erections are a marker of vascular health. They are like the canary in the coal mine of your circulation system. If you're having trouble in that area, it's often one of the first signs your blood vessels aren't functioning at their best. And if water habits are interfering with the very balance that keeps those vessels strong, it makes perfect sense why performance suffers. The beauty of this discovery is that the solution isn't complicated. You don't need expensive supplements or fancy gadgets. You simply need to respect the rhythm of your body. Drink steadily, not excessively. Pay attention to how often you urinate, how you feel when you wake up, how your energy holds through the day. These are simple signals that tell you whether your body is in balance or not. I want to ask you something personal now. How many times do you usually wake up at night to use the bathroom? Is it once, twice, or more? Leave me a comment below with your answer, because it helps me understand what you're going through. And I promise you, I read those comments. They help me tailor future videos to answer the exact questions men like you are struggling with. And don't forget, if you haven't yet, click that subscribe button and tap the bell icon. That way, every week you'll get straightforward advice like this directly from me, Dr. Nolan Easton, without having to search for it. When Harold realized that his struggle wasn't a sign of getting old, but simply a matter of hydration habits, his whole outlook changed. Instead of fearing that his body was failing him, he felt empowered because he had control over the solution. His erections improved, his confidence came back, and even his golf game got sharper because he had better energy and focus. That's the power of making the right adjustments at the right stage of life.
Harold's turnaround was inspiring, but what really stood out to me was how quickly his body responded once he stopped forcing water into his system and instead began listening to it. Men often forget that the body is remarkably intelligent. It gives us signals, thirst, fatigue, swelling, or even nighttime urination that tell us when something is off. The trouble is, we've been taught to ignore those signals and follow generic health advice, especially when it comes to hydration. For decades, the message has been drilled into us: 8 glasses of water a day, or a gallon for better health. But those numbers aren't based on men in their 60s and 70s. They were created as averages, often for much younger, much more active people. By the time you reach your retirement years, your metabolism slows, your kidneys filter differently, and your body holds water in new ways. What might be healthy for a 25-year-old athlete can actually become harmful for a 70-year-old man who simply wants steady energy, restful sleep, and reliable performance. Harold learned this the hard way, but once he understood, it changed his relationship with hydration completely. Instead of chasing a number, he paid attention to his body's rhythms. He noticed that when he sipped water throughout the morning and early afternoon, he felt energized without feeling bloated. When he stopped pounding glasses of water after dinner, his sleep became deeper, and he didn't wake up with that foggy, heavy feeling. And when his body regained balance, his erections naturally followed suit, because the blood vessels that had been stressed by imbalance finally had the support they needed. Now let's get a little more specific, because I want this to be practical for you. The number one mistake I see in men over 60 is drinking too much plain water late in the day. That late flooding doesn't actually hydrate you, it forces your body into overdrive. Your kidneys scramble to clear the excess, your bladder fills, and your sleep gets broken. And remember, every interruption to your sleep lowers testosterone and reduces nitric oxide, the chemical that relaxes blood vessels and allows blood to flow into the penis. Poor sleep and poor erections often go hand in hand, and it's not a coincidence. So what should you do instead? Think about spreading your water intake evenly, especially in the first half of the day. That's when your body needs hydration most to fuel your muscles, joints, and brain. By the time evening rolls around, you should be winding down, not filling up. Even better, add small amounts of minerals back into your water, whether through a pinch of sea salt, a squeeze of lemon, or even an electrolyte mix that's safe for seniors. That way your hydration actually supports your circulation instead of diluting it. Harold began doing exactly that. He carried a smaller bottle instead of a giant jug, and he flavored it lightly with electrolytes. His body absorbed it better, his bathroom trips decreased, and he felt more energized. Within a month, he came back to my office and said, "Doctor, I didn't think something this simple could make such a difference." His wife chimed in laughing, and I didn't think I'd ever sleep through the night again. That simple change didn't just restore Harold's confidence and intimacy, it improved the daily quality of life for both of them. And that's why I'm sharing this with you. Because too many men believe the decline they feel is permanent. They think it's just old age or bad luck. But the truth is, small daily habits like how you drink water have an enormous impact on your vascular health, your hormones, and your sexual vitality. And the best part is, these are habits you can change today, without medication, without surgery, without embarrassment. Let me pause for a quick check-in with you. If what I'm saying is resonating, if you've noticed that your bathroom trips at night are affecting your energy or intimacy, leave me a yes in the comments. If you feel you're not dealing with this issue, type a no. I really do want to know where you stand because it helps me help you better. And while you're here, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap that little bell. That way you'll always have direct access to guidance that's tailored to men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. Guidance that respects what your body truly needs. Now, some men ask me, Dr. Easton, is it really possible that something as small as water could be the reason I've lost confidence in the bedroom? My answer is yes, because erections are not isolated events. They are whole body processes. They depend on hydration, minerals, circulation, hormones, sleep, and stress, all working together. When one piece of the puzzle is off, the rest can fall apart. But when you correct even a single piece, the ripple effects can restore balance everywhere. Harold didn't just improve his erections, he regained his confidence, his sleep, and even his zest for daily life. And that's what I want for every man watching this video.
When Harold walked into my office a second time, a month after making those simple hydration changes, he was not the same man who had sat nervously across from me weeks earlier. His shoulders were back, his handshake was stronger, and there was a spark in his eyes. He told me, "Doctor, I feel like I've got my life back." And his wife, sitting beside him, nodded with a smile that said it all. What had seemed like an inevitable decline had turned out to be completely reversible, with nothing more than paying attention to how and when he drank water. That's what I want you to carry with you from this conversation. The habits we've been taught, even those labeled as healthy, aren't always right for us, especially as we age. For men in their 60s and 70s, the body has different needs, different rhythms. And when you honor those rhythms instead of forcing them, you give your body the chance to perform the way it was designed to. Harold's story isn't rare. I've seen it countless times over my 30 years of practice. Men who thought they were broken discovered that all they needed was to step back, listen to their bodies, and make a few careful changes. It reminds me of something I tell every patient. Your body is not your enemy. It's always working for you, always trying to communicate. The signals, nighttime urination, fatigue, weaker erections, aren't punishments. They're messages. And once you understand the message, you can respond. That's what Harold did, and that's what you can do too. So if you're watching this and you felt discouraged, if you've thought to yourself, maybe this is just what getting older looks like, I want you to tell you right now, it doesn't have to be that way. You are capable of change. Your circulation can improve. Your energy can return. Your intimacy can thrive again. And sometimes the first step is as simple as rethinking something you've done your whole life, like the way you drink water. And here's the beautiful part. When you regain balance in one area, it ripples outward. Harold didn't just fix his bathroom trips or his erections. He slept deeper, had more energy in the mornings, played better golf, laughed more with his wife, and even told me he felt sharper mentally. That's the gift of making the right choices for your body. It gives back to you in every area of your life. Now, before we finish, I'd like to ask you one more time to join me in this mission. If you found this conversation helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you don't miss what I share each week. And if this message resonated with you, type yes in the comments below. If you're still unsure, type no.
I do read your answers, and they help me understand exactly what men like you are going through, so I can bring you the most useful guidance possible. As I sign off, I want you to picture Harold, 68 years old, walking taller, smiling wider, and rediscovering the joy of being himself again. That same transformation is possible for you. It doesn't take miracles, and it doesn't take perfection. It takes listening to your body, respecting its signals, and making adjustments with care. And when you do, you'll be amazed at how much strength and vitality you still have inside you.